What do you do for a living?
Well, I do plumbing. Me and my son, we work together. I have a plumbing company, and Veach's Plumbing. I did backhoe work for year ever since high school, and then went into the plumbing later on. And we do mostly new construction plumbing,
Okay.
and don't do a lot of service stuff, but we have several contractors that we do all their new construction, and so that keeps us very busy. Um, I grew up. I guess my first job was in tobacco. My family farmed, and so I had to buy my first truck that way. And then went into the backhoe service actually while I was still in high school, and it was my dad's business. And so after I got out of school, and I wanted things, so I worked nights at Kentucky Apparel when I first got out after my daytime job, and 6 hours a night, and went in at 6, got off at 12, and I $6 an hour,
Yeah.
and then Marshall Seltzer called me one day, and we did a lot of work for him on the farm, and he offered me a job making $10 an hour at the feed mill. So I did that for a couple years, and wanted to buy a new truck. Did that, that sort of thing. So a lot of my life, I've had multiple, another job, something, to have things I wanted to have, and so just grew up working. And we right now probably keeping 25 to 30 new houses going all the time with the plumbing, and we do a lot of water lines and things for farmers too. I keep CPC's water going, and ag resources, and done a lot of work at those poultry houses. And um, for a while, I oversaw 20 poultry houses for them as kind of a side
Hmm.
job too. And uh, then got the magistrate job, and 2 terms ago, it'll be little over 7 years ago, and I started doing that. Had to let everything else go, but my primary job and the magistrate thing. So I've really enjoyed being a magistrate, being able to help people.
Yeah.
Um, that has been a really good way to meet a lot of people and be able to help people.
Hmm.
Um, you know, um, I do enjoy that a lot, and had a lot of people wanting me to do that and asking me, to do it, and so it one thing led to another, and I ran. Didn't think I could win, but I did, and you know, um, it's been good.
So what made you, like you said, people wanted you to run, but what made you decide, like, okay, this is a good avenue for me to do the magistrate role?
Yeah, so I I just, of course, working, driving over the roads every day, which back then I didn't know a lot about what it entailed. And I knew they took care of the roads, and I think that's what most people knows is they don't realize that it's all of county business, and so um, it I just wanted to be a help and maybe make some improvements in the
Hmm.
county, and so that was my big reason for wanting to try to do it. And I guess it was just something that I thought that I would enjoy doing, and then when I started talking about it, then people would encourage me, and I knew I had a lot of support to do that. So that's what got me started, um, thinking on that line to run.
Yeah.
And
What's it been like being a magistrate?
really good times, some tough times, my first my first year in, I got we put in for a lot of county, or it was actually it's state uh assistance with blacktop. It's called discretionary money,
Mm-hmm.
and you apply, and your roads have to be like from a 7 to 10, 1 being good, 10 being bad, before it will qualify. And could they take into consideration, how much traffic the road has and that sort of thing. So the county got awarded 633,000, and I got 517,000 of that in my district, that year. So that's a big plus when you only are getting about $120,000 a year to spend on roads. That's
Sure.
that was a big lick extra. So um, that's a things like you can apply. You don't always get it, but
Mm.
when you do, it's a home run. It helps the whole county because it don't just help your district. When you're using that money on those roads, you have all of the other county money to spend on other roads.
Yeah.
You don't have to work on them for a while with that your county road aid.
Yeah. So is it like a grant writer that you have
It's
to apply, or like how do you go
no,
about
it's
applying
it's
for
the
you?
the state has somebody they'll send out to look at the roads, and it's not a grant at all. It's actually our tax dollars. The state will um, award that to certain counties. Every county gets some,
Yeah.
a little bit, and it's different years depending on how much money they have. I'm sure, and but if you don't put in for it and you don't ask for it and turn those roads in, you're not going to get any.
Yeah.
You know.
So what made you decide to move up from the magistrate to want to try to shoot for the county judge executive seat?
Well, it's kind of the same thing as I want to try to help this county move forward. And I did have a lot of people asking me to do it, and through a lot of prayer, and
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I decided that it was the time. I always had it kind of, on the back of my mind that I might want to do that someday, and it just seemed like the time was right to go ahead and try to win it. And you know, I want to be um, a lot more transparent and let the public know what's going on with their tax dollars. Um, I would love to do, like, we could record our physical court meeting because it's at 9 o'clock on a Thursday morning. A lot of people's at work; they
Mm-hmm.
can't get there. So I would like to have it to where they could see what's going on in the county, and we could film that and have it where they could even come in at night, and watch it or whatever it may be. Um, I think would be a great thing for the county, and then also just to I want their opinions and I want their feedback to know, let them know what we're thinking about doing as a fiscal court, and get, some feedback on what they would like to use their tax dollars for
Yeah.
to help this county. The number one thing that I see is jobs. I would love to, if it's helping businesses in this county that's already here to expand if they want to, or bring in new employers into the county, that would be my number one thing to work at. And as I've told people, I'm not going to guarantee, a big factory in here or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but, if you're not trying to get that and you're not going to, you know, I hate for our children to get out of high school and have to leave here and move to another county to find work. And it's really bad I feel like for females,
Mm-hmm.
there's really not a lot of job for women to, when they get out of school, they have to go looking for work, and a lot of times that requires them moving.
Yeah.
And to do that, um, the, I guess that I know that is the biggest priority I have is, trying to get more jobs in here and help the businesses if they want to grow and to employ more people, more people that's here. The which it's going to always be a rural county, and I don't want to make it a metro or something like that, but
Sure.
but more tax dollars and help all the restaurants, the gas stations, and everything,
Mm.
as you do that.
Yeah, I hear a lot about like a lack of, like factory type jobs and stuff around
Hmm.
here. So like what what's keeping that from coming in, and what needs to happen to bring it in?
Well, I don't really know what's keeping it from happening. Infrastructure maybe in the past has held some of that role, but now, we have a lot better roads in here, and to get things in and out than what we used to have. And the answer may be to offer tax cuts to these businesses. We got to offer something that they'll make more money in Monroe County than they will in Barron County or Allen County.
Hmm.
Because as a business owner, I know the more money you can make as an owner, you've got to do that,
Right.
and so you've got to offer them something to where they're going to make more money. And I believe that per so many employees, that you could offer tax cuts on them too. Um, I guess make them want to come to Monroe County.
Yeah, so just incentivizing,
Incentive, yeah. Hmm.
fair enough. What do you feel like is we're lacking more in industry or infrastructure?
More in industry now, I think. Infrastructure, you always going to need to work on that. We have some projects going on that's going to help that with water lines and Gamaya, and there's a lot of other things that um, they're talking about in flipping and, increasing that line size to help some businesses down there that really need it. And, uh, farmers and things like that ran out of water, a while back. And, that always needs beefing up, and it's always going to be something that's going to have to be done as you grow, or as I guess a lot of those lines are over 50 years old and they need to be, replaced every so many years. They start getting bad, they have a large water loss, and you have to work on that to correct it. And then also with the internet, and that's getting a lot better because Tri County is, offering fiber now, and then also with the South Central's expanding a lot of lines, I know, and Windstream, you've got a lot of options now that you used to didn't have.
Yeah.
So I think all that's getting, a lot better.
Yeah. Monroe County's always been lagging behind, I feel like.
Yes.
I think in some ways it's been good, like maybe culturally it's been good to like keep that what's a good term? Just that down home, I don't even know, just that sincere old, do you know what I'm trying to say? That or am I talking to myself here?
No, you're good. Yeah, it's just kind of more of a just country way of life, I
Yeah.
feel like a lot,
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
and um we always are going to have that,
Yeah.
I feel like. And so I don't really want to get away from that too awful, a lot. Like I said, um, we don't want to, we're not going to turn this into a big city, but I don't want our kids and, grandkids to have to leave here either. If we can help make it possible for them to find a place of employment here in the county. Um, when you grow some, it helps your hospital, it helps your schools, it helps, everything.
Yeah.
So I think you can't get too small,
Sure.
in other words.
What communities do you feel like are kind of lacking the most in infrastructure?
Um, I would say it's just general, the whole county as far as that. I don't think there's any one place that's really lacking, other more than others. It's just Um, if like we had, of course, we've got the bypass now. We have the, 163 headed out to 90 now. It's a lot better than it used to be. Going south would be, could be improved, and to get us to 40, a better route would help a lot. Um, the airport is a plus. We've got a lot of things to offer here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like the infrastructure, you know, I don't see why that would keep us from being able to get something in here.
Yeah.
Um, in times past, the roads wasn't nowhere near as good as they are today. And, we had buildings and made it work for several years. And it's a lot better now than it was then as far as our infrastructure goes. New water plant,
Mm-hmm.
there's just a lot of things that's been improved.
Somebody else is talking about is it I-40? Is that right?
Hmm.
What's needed to like get the ball rolling on that?
I don't know, and it's been talked about a lot, but I don't know the exact. I have heard that is something that is in the plans to happen, but I have no idea as far as the timeline or anything
Is
on.
that a state level
That's more
venture? I
state.
guess.
Yeah. Hmm.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. 163, I believe, at some point is going on out to Edmonton, and improve to put you to the Parkway. Um, that direction will be a plus also for infrastructure, even though it's not in this county. It's in and out of here.
How do you balance fixing what we have versus bringing in something new? Sorry, I asked you that right when you was taking a big swig.
That's all right. Um, um, as far as you said balancing fixing what we have versus,
Versus bringing in something new.
well, um, I guess as far as your employers go, I just would like to, maybe they don't all want to expand, but if they do, I'm going to go to every employer and talk with them and see what their goals is and what the county can do to help them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's number one because they've been here. That they are trying to make it work here in Monroe County already,
Mm-hmm.
and I want them to know, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
And as a county, and um, there's no priority over one or the other.
Sure.
If you help um, 10 businesses to expand, I mean, if they create 2 jobs, that's, 20 jobs
Mm-hmm.
in 10 businesses. So, I mean, that's, a decent sized business in itself. Um, so I don't think there's either one's more important.
Sure.
And
Have you been in communication with any employers just trying to get feel of what's needed or anything?
I have not. I'm run a business myself, and I deal with a lot of them day to day. Um, but as far as knowing what would help them, um, to improve, I'm sure it's a lot of things. The daily struggles with things increasing in price, and I understand all that. Um, but I think every business is different, depending on what their needs are. And but I haven't talked to them about that
Sure.
exact thing yet. But that is something that I'm wanting to do and find out what will help them.
Yeah.
You know.
Does, like everything going on, like in the Middle East right now, and then like because it's causing gas prices and stuff to go up, does that affect, is that felt at the county level itself too?
Oh yeah, I think everybody sees the effects of that. It don't matter if you're just a single one man business or if it's a big large business, because everything that is trucked in, you're going to pay extra for it because of that. So I don't think that matters what size you are. You're going to see the effects of it.
Are there any specific industries or types of businesses you'd like to see come in that's not here?
Well, probably manufacturing type facilities, or I don't I don't think we draw the line on what we bring in. If we can create some jobs, it's going to help some people. Of course, we have several resources right here that I think you could incorporate with a business as far as with the lumber, and I don't know what types of business
Mhm.
that's looking for a place to build, but any type of manufacturing facility or any type of business, I think would be great.
How do you feel about the county's relationship with the state when it comes to economic growth?
Um, that's a tough question. I will say I can't speak for um everyone and everything, but I do go to a lot of conferences. I know a lot of people in the state that I've gotten to know through being a magistrate, and that I have had to reach out to help us. Like for instance, Jonathan Shell as ag commissioner, and I've reached out to him with agriculture issues that and we've got a good relationship,
Hmm.
as far as that kind of thing. Um, as far as um other parts, I don't know. I mean, you got to know. I have had in the past, maybe not as much right now. You know,
Okay.
as far as a relationship with them. It's a little different between a magistrate and the judge, as far as he's the one deals with them every day, all the time. Where a magistrate's not.
Right.
You
Well,
know,
do you feel like the county in and of itself, not maybe not specifically from the magistrate level, but the county in and of itself and state, do you feel like that relationship, or are you too far
it could,
removed from that to really be able
yes,
to give an answer?
exactly. But I do think that could be better.
Okay.
I do think that definitely could be better
Okay.
than what it is right now.
Fair enough. If you had to describe the financial health of Monroe County right now, how would you describe it?
They're okay. Yeah, it's not terrible. Um, there's a lot of counties in debt, quite a bit, and we're not. We have about a $3.5 million budget. So we're okay. We're not just booming, per se, but we're not hurting for money either. You
Yeah.
know.
So
I know some other counties has told me they're several million in debt, you know.
mhm.
So I know it could always be a whole lot worse, We would want it to be better, but it could be a lot worse at the moment. So
What keeps us above water in that area?
well, you just have three real tax sources, your occupational tax, and ours is only 1%. So a lot of people's is a lot more than that. Then you have your property taxes, and then you have it's an insurance premium tax. Um, those are the only ways you can um, actually raise taxes, to do
Hmm.
something in as a county level,
Hmm.
and the of course, the more jobs you create and the more people that's paying in, the more money that the county's gonna, of course, have.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a big reason as to why jobs are important to help us financially, and it helps the economy to boom.
Are we growing or is it stagnant? Like, is the budget going to stay balanced, or what do you see happening?
Um, yes, it's right now, it should be pretty close to the same as it's been the last, year. I mean, like the population here is like 11.3, I think. In the last census, and it was like 10.6. So 10 years prior to that, so you've only went up
Slow growth.
very slow. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So and I think that's a big factor here too. Is the growth of the county as far as population goes.
Yeah.
That affects it.
Do you feel like if you get in, like your relationship with the fiscal court, do you feel like there'll be any friction there? Do you feel like you'll be able to go in there and everybody get along? What do you anticipate happening?
I do believe it don't matter who wins the magistrate races. If I win the county judge race, I will get along with every one of them. And I think there's a good bunch of people running. You know, there's a lot of good people running for office. I don't know how any of those races are going to go, but it won't matter. I think we'll get along good, and I will work with them. And you know, nobody has the same opinion on things, so you just have to work through it. I feel like being in business all these years, you know, and I deal with the public every day, and it's somebody new every day. Um, Somebody once said, you know, you got it made, you're your own boss. And, you know, that's true to one extent, but to another extent, it's not at all, because when I leave this job today, you know, they may expect one thing of me tomorrow. When I go to another job, it's a different person, and they have different expectations of you. So every day you're having to please somebody different. And I think a lot with the judge is the same way. You know, you're dealing with different people every day, and think their wants and needs are different from each other. You know, one person, they may be all about sports and have kids that's playing and be really interested in that, and another person, they could care less about that, and you know, they want and I hear both sides of all that. You know, one person wants, you know, a bridge fixed on their road, or you know, whatever the case may be. But yeah, it's just working with people, and I can do that. I've done it for a long time, and I think that I have a little advantage because of that, you
Yeah.
know.
So you feel like having a business of your own has kind of give you a unique mindset
Yeah,
approach to being able to go in there and applying it that way.
I do. I think it should be run as a bit, you know, a lot like a business. Um, you know, if you like in my business, you know, if you don't watch what you're doing, you know, you're not going to make money. It's all about making money in the end. And so if there's a piece of equipment that's going to make my life a lot easier, you know, I don't always just go get that just because it's going to make things easier. I have to look at, you know, is it going to make any more money, or are we going to go backwards because of getting it? But you know, it's always things like that you have to factor in, you know. And I think the county's the same way. At some aspects, you know.
Yeah,
You don't want to just be buying and doing and spending if it's not going to help you in the
sure.
end, you know. So I feel like that is uh, something that uh, you have to do if you're, you know, in control of all the county's money.
Yeah. So where do you feel like we're doing a good job as a county, and where do you feel like maybe we're not doing so good of a job? And I know that's probably a tough question in a small town. I've tried to ask similar questions to everybody else, and everybody seems to kind of want to shy away, and I understand, but I do think it's important because
I mentioned it a while ago, the transparency thing,
mhm,
and if you know you're spending taxpayer dollars, they should know where it's going. They should know what it's going for, and they should have some say in what it's going for. Now I'm not saying that, like I said, everybody's got their own opinion of that, but I do want their input. I want to know, you know, if um you think it's a good idea to build this building, or whatever that case may be, to help the county with, you know, as far as storing equipment, or if it's for a indoor basketball court, or whatever the case may be. I want to know what the public thinks about where their money's going, and have some say in it. And you know, the judge is ultimately got to stand on his own 2 feet and make decisions.
mhm,
But I think that the citizens want to be heard, you know, and you need to take their thoughts into consideration when you do that. And I think a lot of times it's just being informed, just,
yeah,
you know, knowing what's going on and not finding out about it after it's already done, you know.
fair enough. Because I see a lot, I I just you read a lot on social media,
Hmm.
and I just know that there's well, we'll shy away from it, I guess, just for the sake of small town politics. But just a lot of people aren't happy with certain things right now, and it sounds like you want to avoid that, and you maybe that being transparent is the way to avoid that. Is that a fair statement?
I do think it is. Yes, I do. I do think that would help a lot of that because I hear it talking. Of course, especially we're right now in the middle of election. I'm out, talking to people, and that's what I hear. They don't know. They're unaware of what's going on, and they want to be in the know.
So when it comes to like leadership, you run your own business,
Hmm.
but do you feel like that you have a leadership style that would be good for the county? And I know that's a yes or no question, but I want you to kind of expand on your answer too, about your leadership style.
Well, and I've always, running a business. I've always been under, like if somebody's working for me, I won't ask them to do something that I wouldn't do myself. And so, I think that a lot of times is a good leader. So you don't I can relate this back to my work. So if I had somebody new, as far as I wouldn't tell them to get in the ditch and start digging with a shovel if I didn't, if I've been there and I've done it. And every once in a while, I have to show them that I don't care to get in there and, get my hands dirty too. I do think a good leader will do that and not just expect things of others that they don't know how to do or wouldn't do themselves, and you have to just have that mentality, I think, all the time that um you just don't
Well, what do you think like you will look like as a county judge executive? Will people find you out, and will they find you out being busy with the everyday person, or does that make sense?
yeah, so I would be full-time judge, and you're not going to be like I want to be available to the public. I will go out and check on roads myself and see about jobs and attend meetings. So you're not always going to be in the office, but I will be available if they can call or call the office and they can get a hold of me if somebody needs something. But I will be out and about in the county and checking on projects or I do think going to your Brad meetings is a must, and they let you know what money's available and what projects are going on. And, if you can't be there, you have to send somebody that represents this county to those uh, to represent us. And we have to have some representation at those meetings. And it's even the same with the conferences, in whether it be Louisville, Lexington, whatever. Um, you got to go and have a relationship with them and get to know them, and so you can, when something is available, that you'll know about it, and they'll know that you're interested, for your county.
Yeah. How accessible do you plan to be to the average citizen of Monroe County?
Very,
Yeah.
very, yes. Any time, I will be accessible. So, I I'll be in that office unless I'm having to be somewhere else for a county business reason,
Would somebody be able to contact you directly?
directly. Yes, sir.
So if you win, what does day one in the office look like for you?
Well, so I've been asked the question a lot is if you keep in all the same employees and all that, and the answer to that is yes. I would not go in and try to replace everybody that's an employee there. Everybody already knows their job. Now I would run it just like my business. If I hired them and they wasn't working out, then there would be at some point you'd have to replace them. Um, but there wouldn't be just go in and clean house and start over, and I've not been promising jobs to people to starting off. I feel like that would hold the county back if had to, you're going to have to retrain them. And, um, people, once they, a lot of them's been in a same job for a long time, and they know their job, and, but they do, I would be oversee, and make sure that things was going smooth and right. And, I guess right off the bat, I would just talk to all the employees and, say day one, and let them know, you know, what I expected, and, for them to do their job. And, what we need to have a vision as the county, and let them know what our number one, what the end result needs to be, and, I think if everybody has the understanding of that, and that focus, that, things will go a lot smoother, and they'll know what I expect, and, always, I think it needs to be moving this county forward. And, um, you've always, I think, got to have a vision of what you want 5 years down the road, or 10 years down the road, and, what that's going to have some idea what that looks like. Um, if you're just working, every day at whatever job, but you don't know what you want your end result to be,
Mhm.
you're not going to get there if you don't have a plan and, a purpose. So, um, uh, you know, we always want to improve the roads, and day one, I don't know, there'll be a lot, for everybody to learn, and getting started. And of course, you're going to have new magistrates, and definitely going to be a few new. So, um, everybody will just have to get to understand what each other expects, you know.
Fair enough. Do you have a 5 or 10 year vision?
Well, the industry would be my, vision to
Sure.
boost it as much as we possibly could. That would be my number one thing to work on, and, hopefully, create at least 40, 50 jobs,
Mhm.
some way or another. Whether, like I said, it was, something, a new facility, or helping the ones that's already established here.
Fair enough. All right. Is there anything, campaign or office wise that we haven't talked about yet that you want to share?
Well, as far as my campaign goes, I've not, I don't run, the campaign part I don't love. The job, yes, but the politic end of it, I'm not crazy about. And I don't run my campaign on others' faults, so a lot of this is tough to get through, and I don't throw blame, and I just want to run as what I want to do to try to help our county instead of somebody else's faults, and that's done a lot. I think this time it's going a lot better than in previous years. As far as throwing blame and slurring somebody else.
Yeah.
So, I just, the campaign, um it's a tough, especially when you work every day, and so like we do, and I try to go in the afternoons to see people, and try to go on Saturdays, and, it's tough getting over the whole county. It's a lot bigger than you think it is
Yeah.
when you start trying to go see everybody.
How much of the county do you think you've canvassed so far?
I'm gonna say maybe 40, 50%, maybe.
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 Do you think you'll be able to get the whole county? Do you have a plan?
I'm gonna make an effort,
Yeah.
and the last couple weeks of the campaign, I'm gonna be solid door to door, all that I can, and, I guess I'll just have to, put some things on hold, and
Sure.
to try to see everyone. This, by the way, is a great thing you're doing, and a lot of people's watching,
I appreciate it.
and I've really enjoyed watching some of it myself. But I didn't even know not long ago that you was even doing these till I started
I
seeing.
didn't either until no lie. I had a buddy that that told because I just moved back here recently and I wanted to keep doing the podcast. I was doing it where I was living prior to here, and he had he threw the idea. I was like, you need to get some of the local candidates on, and I was nervous about it at first because it's like you get one, you got to get them all.
Right.
But I actually like I've enjoyed it
Yeah.
so far
Right.
because growing up, voting's a popularity contest, but here I just get to actually sit down and meet with the candidates in
Right.
themselves and see who they actually are.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then that gives that same opportunity because not everybody's going to be able to go out to like a fish fry or auction or anything like that to meet the candidates and
That's right.
and things like that. So
Yeah, and a lot of times at some of those, you only see the candidates and their families, and of course, whoever's hosting it, there'll be a few, of those, but a lot of times it's the same people every weekend, at every event, and so I don't think you do get to see a lot of people that way. This is a great way for a lot of people to get to see it that you might not even make it to see.
yeah,
Um, because not only have you got to be out there making an effort to see everybody, but you're not always going to catch them at home. And especially on a Saturday, we've been having some real pretty Saturdays and people's out and about doing things. And you can't go to every house 2 or 3 times, just not going to happen. You're going to run out of time.
sure. Yeah, I'm hoping this is a platform that's utilized. If not, it's still a fun hobby for me. So,
Yeah.
but so if you're good with it, I'd like to switch gears. Are you comfortable talking about your family?
Yeah.
I'll just let you let you have at it.
My dad is Gary Veach of Fountain Run. My mom is Rita McLaren. She was a dyer from Bug Tussle, Kamaya area. I'm married to April Ferris Veach, and she works at Monroe County Medical Center. She's been there almost 16 years as a respiratory therapist. Um, Garrett is my son's married to Ellie Emberton, and I have one grandson by the name's Jack, and he's 4 years old. He's in preschool at TES. Then Kelsey Miller is my stepdaughter. She works at Tompkinsville Drug.
Mhm.
And then the youngest, McKinley, she's 8th grade here in the middle school. Um, she keeps us busy with a lot of sports, and yesterday Jack had a t-ball game, and so we was up here at TES watching t-ball yesterday afternoon, and that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's
How hard is it to keep up with all the sports and because they're all various ages? So
That's right, and it's tough. McKinley's mainly been the one playing for the last several. She played basketball and played AAU, and then now she's into volleyball and she plays golf. So it's usually something year round that she's got us doing. We're running her to a practice or to something all the time. Um, but yeah, that's most of that's all my close family
sure.
anyway, and they they've always got something going on, that's for sure. And
So what do y'all like to do when you have family time? Do you get much family time?
yeah, I do. Me and my son and my daughter, we hunt, and I enjoy deer hunting, and it kind of gives yourself a break too from everyday things. We play golf, and that's I really enjoy it. It don't like me so much sometimes, but I do really enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
not good at golf in any capacity.
it's a lot. It can, it's a lot of fun, and it is a stress reliever, I think, but for the most part. But I enjoy the hunting, and it's nothing like sitting out there and at daybreak, just sitting there in the woods and all the everything waking up, and starting the day off. I think that it's one of the best feelings in the world, and seeing the world come to life, and I do enjoy that. I always have, and been doing that for about all of my life.
Yeah. What's the biggest buck you ever shot?
Well, I got a decent one a couple years ago. He had 18 points, and I got with my crossbow.
Okay.
So, uh,
I don't think I've ever shot a crossbow.
yeah, I got a raven, and I really like it. And I used to bow hunt, and really enjoyed that. And as I got older, it's a lot of work, and so the crossbow season now is very long. And when you get a chance, you can just go. And so I've really enjoyed the crossbow, which I mean, collecting guns has also always been a hobby of mine, and I enjoy any type of gun, or and just shooting in general.
What's your weapon of choice?
Uh, I guess all my life it had been probably a 22-250 Remington 700. I just really like shooting it, and they got a lot of distance, a lot of accuracy. And my my daughter, that's what she hunts with. And um, I guess it's just been a favorite of mine all these years. Um, I had a 357 lever action when I was a kid, and got my first deer with it, and Garrett got his first deer with it, and hopefully Jack will get his first deer with it.
Yeah.
And so just kind of keep it going. And but the girl, she's always used 22-250, and mainly I guess it don't kick, as at all. And so I don't never did want to get them where they was scared of the guns.
Yeah.
And teach them about the safety, and uh, not get them scared of it. So
Yeah. You want to see my pride and joy?
yeah,
There you go. You ever seen one of those?
can't say that I don't know a lot about the tactical stuff.
Uh, an FN Scar 17,
Gotcha.
semi-automatic 308.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. And it doesn't kick anywhere near as bad as you think it would.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And then I got a Canic TTI Combat pistol,
I see.
9 millimeter. I'm a believer in I I forgot who I told this. It was probably either Chris or Lucas. Uh, I just don't want to build a gun collection because I feel like I'm just building somebody else an armory
Yeah.
in an apocalypse scenario.
Right.
But no, I just like a rifle and a pistol,
Yeah.
and being proficient with them. So
I like the antique stuff too, and I've got a few antique guns, and those I really like. It's amazing to me how they built a 1911 when they did, and they haven't changed anything on it.
yeah,
It feels so good.
yeah.
That's really cool to me.
It's like the AK-47. They haven't changed the AR-15 platform too
Right.
much. Once you get a good system going, it's
Right. It's
best to just stick with it.
leave it alone if it's not broke. Yep, that's
Ain't
right.
broke, don't fix it.
That's it.
Like a good county judge.
Yep, that's right.
Get in there and don't be broke.
That's it. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming out, man.
I appreciate you having me, and asking me to do this, and I didn't know, I've never done anything like this, and a little nervous,
mhm.
nerves bothered me a little bit, but it's I'm glad I did,
What's it like? I haven't got to ask this question. You're my guinea pig.
Okay.
You're the first person I'll let mess with the gun too. What's it like being in the hot seat over there? Honest opinion,
As far as a magistrate, or
as a guest on the podcast.
right here, I got
Yeah.
you. Well, I didn't know what to expect, and it's a little bit, like I said, I was a little nervous, and it's still, it's a little bit, it's different with the mic and the I guess, I don't know, it's just different than just
Mhm.
talking, to somebody. Um, it's it's tough for me, I guess, with I don't know. Um, I can talk to anybody,
Yeah.
and normally, and it does change things.
What could I do better to help you feel more comfortable?
Um, I really don't know. You
Yeah.
doing a good job.
You think so? Don't
Yeah.
don't
No, I
don't
think
kiss up on camera
no,
now.
no, no. I think you do a good job. You've got a really nice setup here.
I appreciate it.
It's not your setup. It's just me.
No.
So
Did you feel like I asked any gotcha questions or anything
no,
like that?
no, I don't
You
think
think it
so.
was fair
I
questions?
think it was fair questions. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, I do. I believe it was fair questions.
fair enough. My last question is do you want a white shirt or a black shirt?
Um, what?
All right.
Yeah.
Here, let me get it for you real quick. Yeah. Ah,
Yeah,
it's
I
back
like
back on me.
it. Yeah,
All right, man.
good deal. I like it.
All right, so what's the rest of your evening look like?
I probably try to go see a few people before it gets too late, and
What time do you typically get home? I know I said last question like 7 questions ago, but
well, it all depends. I try not to go past like 8 o'clock. Now, if I'm out, talking to somebody and they just keep wanting to talk, we'll talk. But that's what happens when you're out campaigning. Some houses they don't want to talk to you, so you might be just 1 minute. Some houses I'm there for an hour and a half, and they just really want to talk. And so I'm not gonna. If somebody wants to talk to me, that's the thing. I'm not gonna, tell them I gotta go, and I want to talk to them.
yeah,
So
fair enough,
I
man.
want to hear what they got to say, and you know, that's just um, I like trying to answer their questions, and if I can, and that's the thing. Like with magistrate, if I don't know the answer to a question, I'm not afraid to say I don't know. But I will go do my research and find out, and I'll come back
Sure.
and we'll talk about it then. Because you're not always going to know. There's even things that you're in the dark about that you've been in the dark about on purpose, maybe even.
Maybe even, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
So you have to do some research sometimes when somebody asks you something like that.
fair enough, man.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming out. I hope you don't have too late of a night and you can get home and get to your family.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
Yeah. Yeah.
let's get you out of here.
All right. Appreciate it.